Hello YouTube, Dave here again. Welcome back to another installment of 4E Fridays. Today we are going to be doing a character creation video, and we're going to be doing a character creation video for what is my favorite 4th edition D&D class. So today we are going to be making a Warlord. Now, I've already gone through and sort of chosen the things that I wanted for the character just to kind of save time in the video, but we will be filling out the character sheet, and I will be going through the book to show you some of the options that I chose. The Warlord is just, to me, it's such a fascinating class. It's a kind of a support character. It's a really good, like, secondary type of combatant, but they also have a lot of abilities that are all about bolstering their allies and giving the allies the ability to do things on the Warlord's turn. And the idea that I have for this Warlord is I want him to be more intelligence-based and have him revolve around features that maneuver or grant allies that are, adjacent to him or the enemy that he's attacking or at least nearby, benefits and bonuses and things that they can do during the Warlord's turn as, like, free actions. So I kind of want him to be that, like, really good, like, secondary support character. But he can also work really well, like, not just with, like, a regular fighter, but if there's a rogue in the party, he can also work really well with the rogue because they have abilities that allow the ally to shift up to 5 feet while the Warlord is making their attack. So it can kind of help position the rogue into a flanking position to help them get their sneak attack off, because in 4th edition they still had to be diametrically opposed in order to consider, like, flanking for the purposes of, like, their sneak attack ability. So I think it can work really good with just a secondary, with a primary fighter, or even with a rogue, and the two can kind of work off of each other here. I also decided to go with an Eladrin idea for the Warlord as well, mostly because they do get a bonus on their intelligence stat, so I thought that might be handy when it comes to this. And I went with the standard array. So the standard array, like, you can roll attributes to determine, like, you can roll 46 and drop the lowest, which was the default for 3rd edition D&D. But with 4th edition, they really were leaning into, like, the RPGA stuff, kind of like what they do with 5th edition in more modern times, where they have Adventurers League. So they really want the organized play to be a big part of it, but to do so, they want everybody kind of on equal footing, because, we all know that one person that's going to show up with a character whose lowest stat is a 15 because they had, like, a -2 penalty in that attribute. So the standard array for 4th edition is attributes of 16, 14, 13, 12, 11, and 10. Pretty similar to the 5e ones, except instead of it being like 15, 14, 13, 12, and then I think it's 10 and 8 or something like that, you do actually get a 16 to start, which isn't too bad. So, like I said, we went through and we kind of made some of our decisions here, but we will take a look at the Eladrin to give you an idea of what it is that they get. And then we'll start filling some stuff in. Then we'll take a look at the class and see some of the options there. And again, the ones that I ended up choosing for that. So here we have, here we have the Eladrin. So, and I am at an awkward angle, so I do apologize for that. But here's their abilities. So they get +2 to dexterity and +2 to intelligence. Dex isn't as important when it comes to the Warlord class. They're like strength, intelligence, charisma are their 3 ones. I went with strength and intelligence, but I still put decent amounts into, like, dexterity and con. They're medium size. They have a speed of 6 squares, or if you multiply that 5, if you don't want to do a grid, if you want to do more theater of the mind, then they have a speed of 30 feet. They also get low light vision, and they start with the languages of Common and Elven. In 4e, the only way to get extra languages is through taking the Linguist feat, I think it is, or the Linguist, it might be the Linguist skill, actually. No, I think it's a feat. Anyway, so if you take the feat, then you can choose other languages, but if not, you just get the default ones there. They also get +2 inherent bonuses to Arcana and History. They have training with one additional skill selected from the skill list in Chapter 5. Oh, I forgot to put that down. So I'll have to choose another skill to add. And I'll take a look at the ones that I have here and the ones that are missing, and I'll probably base it off of that. They have Elven weapon proficiency or Eladrin weapon proficiency, so they're always proficient in the longsword, but the class grants them that anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. They get a +1 racial bonus on their will defense, and in addition, they get a +5 racial bonus to saving throws against charm effects. They also have the Fey origin, so they're counted as Fey creatures for anything that affects that. They have the trance ability, so they only need to spend 4 hours to take an extended rest. And they get the Fey Step, which is an encounter ability that allows them to teleport up to 25 feet away. So we'll start with that information. So for the class, or for the skills, I did choose Athletics, Diplomacy, Heal, and History, but I do feel like Perception is probably a pretty good one to have as well. So I think Perception's the one that I'm going to choose for the racial ability. So we're going to go to Perception down here. Make sure that I can do it on camera there. So Perception, and the way that skills work in 4th edition is you don't have skill points. If you're trained in a skill, then you get a flat +5 bonus. So we're going to write that in there for Perception. So +5. They also get a racial bonus of +2 to Arcana and History. So Arcana and History. And their other abilities, so they have a speed. Now the speed is going to be modified. So their base speed is going to be 30. And again, I'm going to do the stuff in feet because 4th edition can easily be played without a grid. You just have to multiply by 5, and the Theater of the Mind stuff works pretty well, I think, with that. Then for our senses, special senses, we have low light vision, and I know my handwriting's not very good. It's not good normally, so imagine when I'm reaching around a tripod there as a lefty to try to. I mean, this is my handwriting without it, so I mean, it's probably not egregiously worse. All right, so for their racial features, again, we've got most of the stuff in there. We will put Fey origin. Well, ability score mods. Okay, so +2 Dex, +2 INT. Then we'll go, I guess, +1 Will, +5 saves versus Charm. Whoops. They also get Fey origin, which we already went over, so that just makes them Fey for things that target Fey specifically. They have Trance, and they have Fey Step. Now, I'm not going to write in exactly what it does. We went over the ability, and generally when I create 4th edition characters, what I'll actually do is type up their abilities, like their at-wills, dailies, encounters, and utilities. I'll type them up on just like a, well, I use LibreOffice, but just on a Word document, and then I highlight the name of the ability in the colors that sort of correspond, because they'd actually color code the abilities in 4th edition. So at-will abilities have a green header, encounter powers have like a red or maroon header, and the daily or utility powers are usually done with sort of, it's like a black header, but I always do like a dark blue when I type it on the computer. But we will go over what each ability does there. And then for languages, we have Common and Elven. Also, I apologize if you hear any like howling wind. It is crazy windy out there today, and it's like -17 degrees with wind chill, and it's like -4 or 5, I think, normally. So the wind's enough that it like drops it down significantly. We also had sort of an ice storm a bit last night. It wasn't terrible, but it's enough that when I'm taking the puppy out for his walk, that it's very treacherous trying to move around. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So we've got, whoops, bumped the camera. We do have our racial stuff put in there. The last thing we'll put in is for the will defense. They do get +1 from their race. We have the speed, we have low light vision, we have all the other abilities there, we have the languages, we have the skills and the extra skill that you get training in just from being the Eladrin. So that's great. We have all that information. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the Warlord class. Like I said, this is just a really cool support character, and I don't get to play a lot when it comes to like playing RPGs. I'm kind of the forever DM, which is fine. I do enjoy that. Generally speaking, I enjoy running more than I do enjoy playing. But when I play, I kind of like to make support characters that can help out the other players. So here we've got the Warlord class. So their traits are that their armor proficiencies are cloth, leather, hide, and chainmail, as well as light shield. So they're not proficient in plate mail or heavy shields by default. You can take feats to change that, though. They do get +1 to fortitude defense and to will defense. Their hit points start at 12 plus their constitution score, because in 4th edition you add your con score, not the modifier, as a one-time add to your hit points. However, if your con score does change through like leveling up and gaining attribute bonuses, then yes, the hit point total also changes to equal what the con is. It is retroactive, but instead of adding your modifier every level, you just add your con score once, which again is the thing that I actually like about 4th edition, because it makes those low-level, first-level characters have a bit more staying power. They're not as squishy, which, you know, for some things can be fine, but when you just want to kind of go through and run the adventure, if they don't have to like run back to town after every fight to heal and to regain like their one spell or something like that, it just helps kind of move things along. So I do like the change. And other role-playing games like Pathfinder 2nd Edition also handles low-level characters really well by having their class and their race provide hit points. So you do get a bit more, again, a bit more staying power there that way. You can take an extra hit or so at lower levels. So I do like that. So we got 12 plus their con modifier. And from the skills that we have here, I did go again with athletics, diplomacy, healing, and history. They don't have a lot for intelligence, so I don't have a modifier in wisdom or charisma, so I don't get a lot there, but that +5 bonus for being trained will really help. And their key features: combat leader, commanding presence, and inspiring word. So let's take a look at what we've got here. So for combat leader, you and each ally within 50 feet who can see and hear the Warlord gain a +2 power bonus to initiative. And I did give the Warlord improved initiative for his feat. And I forgot to write down what that bonus does. But oh no, I didn't take improved. I'm sorry, I did not take improved initiative. I was going to take improved initiative, but I did find a better feat, so never mind. They just get the +2 there. That's why I didn't write down. They also get the commanding presence, so they have inspiring presence or tactical presence. Inspiring presence is whenever an ally who can see you spends an action point to take an extra action, that ally regains lost hit points equal to 1/2 your level plus your charisma modifier. Which I think would be a minimum of 1. In my case, if I took that, it would only be 1. So we didn't go with that one. We went with tactical presence. So when an ally you can see spends an action point to make an extra attack, the ally gains a bonus to the attack rolls equal to 1/2 your intelligence modifier. So right now it's a +1 bonus because I have a +2 intelligence modifier. but that's still something that can really help out as things go on. And there's other abilities that I've chosen that get bonuses based off of having chosen the tactical presence. So right now, just getting that +1 to hit for them spending the action. And again, that will go up as we gain intelligence as well. So it's equal to 1/2 your intelligence modifier. The choice you make also provides bonuses, which we said. They also have Inspiring Word, which is an encounter power that you can actually use twice per encounter, but only once per round. And it's a close burst 5, so it's centered on the Warlord and then goes out 5 squares or 25 feet in all directions. And you target yourself or one ally, and they can spend a healing surge and regain an additional 1d6 hit points. All right, so for at-will exploits, I went with Commander Strike, which is at-will martial weapon ability. You target one creature, and then an ally of your choice makes a basic melee attack against the target, and if they hit, they get to add your intelligence modifier to the damage. So I haven't written down the ability scores yet. I will be doing that on the character sheet, but I ended up going with a 14 or 15 intelligence, actually. So when I gain the attribute increase, gives me +1 into 2 different attributes, I'll be able to bump that up to a +3. So I get to add my intelligence modifier to their damage. Now, it is a basic attack, so they don't get to use one of their normal at-will class features. Instead, it's just a regular melee attack where they add their strength modifier plus half your level, which at level 1 you always round down, so that'd be 0 plus their strength modifier. But weapons also will add a proficiency bonus to the attack roll if you're proficient in them. So you get to add that. You make the attack roll against their armor class, and if you hit, you roll the normal weapon die damage, add your strength modifier, and in this case, I'm adding my intelligence modifier to that for an extra 2. Now there is like Furious Smash as well. I didn't choose that one. I did end up going with Wolf Pack Tactics. We'll take a look at that in a moment. But Furious Smash, if you're interested, you target one creature, strength versus fortitude, so it's not against their armor class, against their fortitude defense. If you hit, you deal damage equal to your strength modifier, and then you choose one ally either adjacent to you or the target. This ally applies your charisma modifier as a power bonus to the attack roll and damage roll on his or her next attack against the target. If the target does not attack if the ally does not attack the target by the end of the turn, the bonus is lost. Again, my charisma bonus is 0, so that wouldn't be an effective one to choose. There's also Viper Strike. So this is strength versus armor class for 1 weapon damage plus strength modifier. If the target shifts before the start of your next turn, it provokes an opportunity attack from an ally of your choice. Again, not so interested in that one, but I did take the Wolf Pack Tactics. So this is a strength versus armor class weapon attack by the Warlord. However, before you attack, you actually get to let one adjacent ally to either yourself or the target shift 5 feet or 1 square as a free action. So again, that can move them into, say, a flanking position, which can also give you combat advantage, which is a +2 bonus on your attack roll. And you hit, it's just regular strength modifier plus the weapon damage. So I went with the Commander Strike, so allowing an ally to make their attack instead, and Wolfpack Tactics. So again, like the Commander Strike can work really well with a rogue character, because if you can get them into that flanking position, then you can actually allow them to make their basic strike, but it will do sneak attack if it hits. So it can work really well with that. And again, I kind of want this character to be about maneuvering his allies around and kind of himself around in order to create situations where everybody's getting like the most optimal like bonuses on their attack rolls and the ability to use certain features, again, like sneak attack and things like that. For the encounter powers, you get to choose one at level 1. The options are Guarding Attack. So this is a strength versus armor class for 2 weapon dice plus the strength modifier. Until the end of your next turn, one ally adjacent to either you or the target gains a +2 power bonus to AC against the target's attacks. If you have Inspiring Presence, the powers bonus equals to 1 plus your charisma modifier. Again, I don't have a charisma modifier. That one's not worth taking, for me anyway. Hammer and Anvil. strength versus reflex for 1 weapon damage plus strength modifier. One ally adjacent to the target makes a melee basic attack against it as a free action. The ally adds your charisma modifier to the damage. So again, not the most useful for this character because they don't have a charisma bonus at this point in time. There is Leaf on the Wind, and that just feels too soon. But it is 1 creature, strength versus armor class, 2 weapon plus strength modifier damage, and you or an ally adjacent to the target swaps places with the target. So again, that might be interesting, but I chose Warlord's Favor. So the Warlord's Favor is strength versus armor class for 2 weapon dice plus strength modifier, and then 1 ally within 25 feet of you gains a +2 power bonus to attack rolls against the target until the end of your next turn. However, I have Tactical Presence, which the bonus then becomes 1 plus my intelligence modifier, so that will give them a +3 to hit. Now, the feat that I chose is called, where did I see it here? I wrote it down, but Tactical Assault. So the feat that I took was Tactical Assault. So any targets that gain bonuses from my Tactical Presence also gains a plus, or it gains my intelligence bonus on damage rolls. So I think with this, it works with that as well. So that might be +3 to hit and +2 to damage. Otherwise, it's still, giving somebody, it would still give somebody, if they use their action point, it gives them an extra +2 to hit. So either way, it's still going to be a useful ability. I don't know if it actually stacks with abilities that benefit from Tactical Presence or not, but it still seemed like a good feat to take because adding my intelligence modifier to their damage could be can be like a helpful thing. So it could definitely speed combat along a little bit there, especially when we get into higher levels and higher ability scores. Then for our daily powers, so I did take the Warlord's Favor there, and for the dailies we've got Bastion of Defense. And did I take? No, I didn't take that one. So Bastion of Defense is strength versus armor class. 3 weapon dice plus your strength modifier for damage, and then allies within 5 squares or 25 feet of you gain a +1 power bonus to all defenses until the end of the encounter. And the other effect is allies within 25 feet of you gain temporary hit points equal to 5 plus your charisma modifier. That's why I didn't take it. It would just be the 5 because I don't have a charisma bonus. There's Lead the Attack, and this is the one that I did end up taking. So it's strength versus armor class, 3 weapon dice plus strength modifier for damage. Until the end of the encounter, you and each ally within 25 feet of you gain a power bonus to attack rolls against the target equal to 1 plus your intelligence modifier. So again, that's giving a +3 bonus right now against that target until the end of the encounter. And even on a miss, you still grant a +1 bonus to attack rolls until the end of the encounter against that target. So even if you miss, you're still granting your allies a bonus to hit. Then the other level ones that I didn't choose were Pin the Foe, strength versus armor class for 3 weapon dice plus strength modifier. Until the end of the encounter, the target cannot shift if it has at least 2 of your allies, you and 1 ally, or you and 1 ally are adjacent to it. And then there's White Raven Assault, strength versus armor class, 3 weapon dice plus strength modifier damage. And you slide an adjacent ally 1 square until the end of the encounter. Whenever you or an ally within 10 squares or 50 feet of you makes a successful attack, the attacker slides an adjacent ally 1 square or 5 feet. And then if you miss, you choose 1 ally within 50 feet. Until the end of the encounter, the ally slides an adjacent ally 5 feet after making a successful attack. So yeah, some pretty cool options there. But again, I went with Lead the Attack. So we've got our class stuff there. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is I'm actually going to start writing in these attributes because I forgot to do that earlier. So our strength was 16 because I took the 16 from our standard array and put it there. Our con is 14. Our dex is 14, although I should check and make sure I can apply that to the chainmail armor class. Intelligence is 15. Wisdom is 10. And my charisma is 11. So I basically am considering if the character levels up to the point where they get +1 into 2 different attributes, I can put them into intelligence and charisma, and that would give me a +1 charisma bonus, which would start making it more worthwhile to look at some of the Warlord options that use the charisma bonus. But for now, our strength modifier is going to be +3, our con is going to be +2, our dex is going to be +2, our intelligence is +2, and then +0 for both wisdom and charisma. Now, a lot of things in 4th edition add half your level to it. So like skill checks, attack rolls, armor class, your defenses, your skills. I don't remember if I said skills or not. I probably did. So you get to add half your level. However, it is half your level rounded down. So at level 1, that number doesn't change. So I'm not going to bother filling that information in. But we can start putting in some of our other information here. So for example, our armor class, so 10 plus half of our level right now is going to be 10. I haven't gotten to the equipment yet, so we'll check that out here in a moment. But we do have our fortitude, which is going to be 10. All of our bases are going to be 10 because we are level 1 currently. But we do have, what do we got here for the ability, class, feat? Okay. So for our fortitude, our class gives us +1. Will gives us +1. We already have the +1 from our race. And then our ability scores, for fortitude, we can use either strength or con. So you actually get to choose the better of the two numbers. That's why those two are grouped together, and you can see the arrow condenses down to that. So we're going to go with our strength ability, which is going to be +3. And we don't have any other bonuses currently to that. So our fortitude defense is going to be 14. Our reflex, we're going to get either +2 or +2, so we're going to go with +2. We don't get anything from our class or any feats or any other enhancements right now, so our reflex defense is only going to be 12. And then for our will, unfortunately, we don't have any bonuses to either wisdom or charisma, so we're going to get 0 there. And we're going to have a 12 defense for will. So those numbers we're going to want to pump up at some point in, as quickly as we can. But again, we get to start adding half our level to that. So by the time they reach level 2, then, they'll be at least adding an extra 1 to that. Then we've got our maximum hit points. So it was 12 plus our 14 con. So that is going to get us 26 hit points. And then for our bloodied value, it's half of that, so it's going to be 13 hit points. And then effectively, the healing surge is half of your bloodied, or a quarter of your maximum hit points. So that would be a 6.5 if we're dividing 13 by 2. So we can't do that, we round down, so our healing surge value is 6. But we do get healing surges equal to 7 plus our con modifier. So we do get 9 healing surges per day. All right, so we also chose our trained skills. So we're going to go into, what do we choose there? We didn't choose Arcana. We have Athletics, which is going to be +5. And we'll fill in the other numbers here momentarily. Then we chose Heal, so that'll give us +5. History will give us +5. And then what was the other one there? Diplomacy. I missed Diplomacy. So Diplomacy will also get a +5. So our ability plus half our level. Again, half our level is 0.5, so we round down. So Dex is going to be +2. Arcana +2. Strength +3. Charisma +0, Diplomacy +0, Wisdom +0, Endurance +2, Heal +0, History +2, Insight +0, Intimidate +0, Nature +0, Perception +0, but we are trained, so we get +5, +2 for Religion, +2 for Stealth, +0 Streetwise, +2 for our dex. So those are those numbers filled in there. And then for our class features, so we do get, and again, this is going to be kind of awkward trying to write this here, but we do get combat leader. We get tactical presence. And we get inspiring word. Now, our combat leader does give us a +2 bonus to initiative, and our dex is +2. We don't get to add half our level yet, so we get a +4 on initiative. I also chose the name Immoral for my elf, who's level 1. He's a warlord. We don't have to choose Paragon Path or Epic Destiny yet. He is an Eladrin. Whoops. He is medium. And I'm not going to worry about the age, gender, height, or weight, or any of that stuff right now, but we will do alignment. He is going to be considered good aligned. And Coralon will be his deity. So we've got that information, and then on the next page, we've got our at-will abilities. So for at-will, we're going to write down Commander Strike. I also forgot to turn my table around because there's a seam right here where the sides fold down, and I used to record on like the other side of the table there, so I gotta rotate this around so I'm not dealing with that. But we got Commander Strike, and then we've also got what is it here? Commander Strike, and then Wolfpack Tactics, and again that's like right on the seam. So I do want to again apologize for my crappy handwriting, though to be fair, it's pretty crappy even when I'm just like normally writing. Encounter powers, we do technically have inspiring word, so we will write that down. We also have Phase Step, which we should probably put in here too. And then we've got Warlord's Favor. And then for our daily power, we have the lead the attack. We don't get any utility powers because they start at level 2. But we've got all that information down. So a few other things that we can work on here is our attack workspace. So ability, we're going to go strength. So the ability score is going to be +3. Their class, I don't think provides us anything for that. Proficiency, that's based off the weapon, so we'll get to that there in a moment. And I don't have any ranged weapons yet, so I'm not going to bother working that information out. But for damage workspace, there's strength, which gives us +3. And again, nothing to change that right now, so that would be simply +3. Basic attacks are all strength versus melee, but they are weapon attacks, so I got to factor in the weapon here. So we'll we'll wait, but they are versus armor class. I think all of my ones are strength versus AC. I don't think any of them target any of the other defenses there for now. And then our feat that we took was Tactical Assault. Okay, all right, so the last thing to do is just equip our character. And that's going to be pretty simple to do. So all first level characters start with 100 gold pieces to equip their character with. And I got to just check something here. All right, armor is defined by either light armor, if you're in light armor proficient with it. When wearing, you can add either intelligence or dex modifier to armor class. Heavy armor is more restrictive. When you wear heavy armor, you don't add an ability score. Okay, and I'm pretty sure chainmail is considered heavy. All right, so we don't get to add our dex modifier to our armor class, but we do get to add it to our initiative and our reflex defense and all that stuff. So we're proficient up to chainmail. So that's what I went with. So chainmail gives us an armor bonus of +6. And I also took, I took the chainmail armor and I took the light shield because I am proficient in the light shield. So I don't see a shield bonus on there, so I'm just going to put that under miscellaneous. And we're going to start with an armor class of 17. Whoops. Don't mean to bump the camera there. Now the chainmail armor also has a check penalty of -1 and a speed penalty of -1, or in this case, 5 feet. So we got -5 feet for our armor. So our Eladrin Warlord is going to have a starting speed of 25 feet. And then armor check is going to apply to acrobatics, to athletics, to endurance, to stealth, and to thievery. So we got to factor all these things in now. So acrobatics is 2 for dex, -1, so we're going to get +1. Arcana is going to be +4 because we get 2 for intelligence, 2 for our Eladrin. Athletics is going to be 3 + 5 is 8, but -1 for armor is going to be +7. Bluff is just +0. Diplomacy gets to be +5. Dungeoneering is +0. Endurance is 2 for con, but -1 for armor for +1. Heal is +5 because we're proficient. History is going to be 2 for our intelligence, 5 for proficiency, and 2 for the Eladrin, so it's going to give us a +9, which is pretty cool. Insight +0, Intimidate +0, Nature +0. Perception is 0, but +5 for being proficient, so we get +5 there. Religion is going to be +2. Stealth is 2 for dex, -1 for armor, +1. Streetwise +0, and then thievery is going to be +1, 2 for dex, and then -1 for the armor class there. So we've got that figured out. The only other thing now to do is, we got to do passive. Passive insight is 10 + 0, so it's going to be 10, and then we got +5. So our passive perception is going to be 15 there. So for the weapons, I only chose one weapon because I had just enough gold left over when I bought my equipment to get a crossbow, but no bolts. So I think I'll wait on that one. But I did go with the longsword there. So you can see weapons in 4th edition, because you don't have like a normal base attack bonus or anything like that. If you attack with a weapon that you're proficient in, then the weapon itself adds a proficiency bonus. And the longsword adds +3. So we are going to... proficiency is going to be +3. So that is going to give us a total of +6 to hit with our weapon. So +6 versus armor class. The weapon is longsword. And the regular damage is 1d8 +3. Now, the longsword does have the versatile option as well. So if I were to wield it two-handed, then I get to deal 1d8 plus my strength modifier plus an additional 1. So if it's two-handed, it's 1d8 +4. So we will write that in just to have it there. So we'll go longsword to H, and then 1d8 +4. And then the only other equipment that I chose was the standard adventurer's kit, which comes with a backpack, a bedroll, flint and steel, a belt pouch, 10 days of rations, 50 feet of rope, 2 sun rods, and a water skin. So I'm not going to write all of that stuff down, but on our equipment here, we're just going to write down, I'll put my armor, so I've got scale mail. Was it scale mail or chain mail? No, it was chain mail. Chain mail. And then we've got a light shield, long sword, and then we've got our standard adventurer's kit. And then we had 25 gold left over. So GP 25, which is again the cost of a crossbow, which I can use because I'm proficient with simple ranged weapons. But if I were to buy that crossbow, I wouldn't have any bolts. So it would still be kind of useless. But there we go. So that's our character. I think we've got everything filled in that needs to be filled in. So we'll just go over everything here. So again, we have Emerald. He is a level 1 Warlord. He is an Eladrin who is good aligned. He's got a +4 to his initiative, a 17 armor class, 14 fortitude defense, 12 for reflex and will defenses, a speed of 25 feet, passive insight of 10, passive perception of 15, 16 strength, 14 con, 14 dex, 15 intelligence, 10 wisdom, and 11 charisma. I probably could have switched the dex with the charisma, but I got a +2 bonus to that dex, so that would only have been a 12 anyway. So I still wouldn't have ended up choosing any of the charisma-oriented Warlord class abilities. We get +1 on wills, +5 on saves versus charm. We've got the Phase Step, which lets us teleport. We have the Combat Leader, Tactical Presence, and Inspiring Word. So Combat Leader gives the Warlord and anyone I think that can see or hear him a +2 bonus on their initiative rolls. Tactical Presence, if an ally spends an action point. So you get action points throughout the game. I think you start every session with 1, and then you gain an additional 1 whenever you complete a milestone. So for example, like if you do 2 encounters before finishing like a long rest, then you get another action point, because that's like the kind of to keep them in the game, because they are an important part of it. And then at higher levels, you also get other abilities that are dependent on them. But with Tactical Presence, if an ally spends their action point specifically to make an extra attack, then they get to add +1, so half of my intelligence modifier to the attack roll, but my full intelligence modifier to the damage roll. So +1 to hit, +2 damage currently. And then Inspiring Word allows somebody within, I think it's like 25 feet or something like that, or 30 feet of the Warlord to spend a healing surge, including the Warlord himself. He can always target himself. Can spend a healing surge to regain their healing surge value, plus an additional 1d6. I can speak Common and Elven. And our skills, I'm not going to read them all out, but that's the numbers that we have there. The best skill is history, oddly enough, so at +9. We'll say it's like military history, probably what he focuses on there. For his abilities, he's got low light vision. His attack bonuses are currently +6 with his longsword, 3 for the longsword, 3 for his strength, and that will change when he gets to start adding half his level. He gets to add +3 currently to his damage, and if he attacks just basic attacks with his longsword, +6 versus armor class for a d8 +3 or a d8 +4 if he's wielding it two-handed, although if he does so, then his armor class is 16 instead of 17. He's got the Commander Strike and Wolfpack Tactics at-will abilities. So Commander Strike allows him to have an ally that's adjacent to the target that he wants to be attacked. They can make a basic melee attack against that target instead of the Warlord doing it. And then with Wolfpack Tactics, the Warlord does attack, but he allows one of his allies to be able to move basically closer to that target before the attack roll is made. Then we have, like I said, the Inspiring Word, the Phase Step, which is just a 25-foot teleport that does not provoke attacks of opportunity. And then the Warlord's Favor, which I believe gets, if the Warlord attacks, he may have strength versus armor class for 2 weapon dice plus strength modifier, and then one ally within 25 feet gains a +3 power bonus to attack rolls against that same target, so 1 plus my intelligence modifier. And then we've got Lead the Attack, which is strength versus armor class for 3 weapon dice plus strength modifier. And then if I hit on the head as well, because you have to deal the hit to deal the weapon damage, you and allies within 25 feet gain a +3 power bonus on attacks against that target for the rest of the encounter. And even if I miss, allies still gain a +1 bonus there. And then I just have my armor, my weapon, and my standard adventurous kit with 25 gold left over. So there we go. That was creating a first level Warlord. And I really love this class. I know it's not going to be for everybody, but I really like playing kind of like the backup or the support characters. I don't get to play as characters very often, so it might just be because there are often times where I make an NPC just to help fill out the party a little bit, because like my current 5e campaign only has 2 players in it, so I created an NPC to even things out a little bit, but I ended up making a cleric, so there's healing and some other support stuff. So I'm just kind of used to making support characters. But I really, really love this class, and I just love the idea of like the tactics involved. And it's one of the things that I like about 4th edition combat is it's not as static as other versions of like D&D are. So like in 3rd edition, even my Pathfinder 2e game that I'm currently running, once the players kind of get into melee with each other, then everything just kind of stops as far as movement's concerned, and then it's just like straightforward attack rolls. But with 4th edition, you're kind of always manipulating the battlefield, and you're always allowing people to maneuver around, or you're repositioning enemies, or you're repositioning allies, or you're doing things like that. So there just seems to be like a bit more motion, I guess, going on when it comes to 4e combat. And I think the Warlord really works well with that. They fill the role of like a secondary fighter really well, but they also work super well with like a rogue character, allowing the rogue to maneuver and shift into a certain position there in order to be able to get like the maximum number of sneak attacks off. So I really love the class. I never got a chance to play it. I never got a chance to play 4th edition, only to run it. But if I were to play in a 4e game, this is the character that I would be taking to the table, and this is actually going to go, and I'm going to save this character sheet. Usually I just end up tossing the stuff out once the character's created, but this one I'm going to hold on to because you never know. You know, maybe someday. Anyway, let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite character class from the 4e game? Have you played a Warlord? If so, did you take the intelligence, like tactical approach, or did you take the charisma approach to it, which focuses a bit more on like healing or other, types of actions in combat? Let me know that in the comments below. Anyway, thank you also so very much for your patience in getting 4E Fridays back. There was a bit of a break, and I apologize for that, but we are going to be starting this series going forward as a bi-weekly series. So there won't be one next week, but there will be one the week after. But next week, we're going to have a Starter Set Saturday series video. And maybe just to bridge the gap, maybe what I'll do is I'll have my Essentials kit. My starter set, the red box starter set for 4E Essentials. Maybe that'll be the first video in this series. I feel like that might be fitting since it's being used to sort of offset the 4E Friday series. Anyway, again, thank you all so very much. I truly appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, take care.